Live streaming is on.
Okay.
Okay.
It says it's working. So
And
let's hope it is.
the live button is back on. So
Yeah. Okay, so in case, I'm sorry, it seems that we were disconnected for a while. Everybody's trying to stream at the same time all over the world.
can someone chat us, or is there a comment section where you can figure out what the last thing they heard was?
I have no idea. But you were being really flattering to me. They don't need to hear that.
Yeah, I was really just talking about, to recap for people who hadn't heard. And again, we're not sure where you got cut off. We're sorry. Modern technology. But we were just saying that, the influence that the Spanish artists have really had on American comics and American comic culture. The first wave started with the Marvel UK books and then came over, be it Carlos Pacheco, Salvador La Roca, Pascal Ferry, the comics that they had. And it was interesting because with a lot of the European artists, the Marvel's been published in Europe mostly since the 70s, really. Different books in different countries, different artists had different influences on different the artists in different cultures. But while the young some of the artists were influenced by the Marvel comics when they were younger, the style, they had the storytelling from the local comics, from the European comics, from the bande dessinée, to use the French word. And when they combined the two, they brought something different to the American comic book art style. They were able to bring it back to, when they were working for Marvel on the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and bring a different storytelling sense, different perspective, different camera angles, different pacing to the American comics has become the standard. So it's just so incredible how to see, like what your artists and the artists in the previous generation from Spain, the influence they've had on a lot of what we do as what we call, quote unquote, American comics, which really aren't. Their American comics are as much of a melting pot of art as America is as a culture.
Yeah, it's funny. When I remind people of how it all started, some people don't believe me. I had to go. I didn't have. Of course, there was no internet. I had no internet at this because I was a poor guy, and it was the first years. And I had to go to a store, to a kiosk bookstore, like 2 blocks away from my parents' house, to send faxes and get faxes back, to send the pages in and out. And also, I remember that some editors of the earlier generations, I won't name names, the names, but I won't name names, telling me, why would we need Spanish artists if we have American artists? And I was like, well, because it's different point of view, different frame of mind. I think it couldn't reach, what you guys do. Like, no, we don't need that. And how it changed, bit by bit. Of course, the main engineers of change were prior to my guys. Whoever doesn't give Carlos, Salvador, and also in a big way Pascual. I mean, from the Spanish point of view, credit is an asshole or doesn't want to see it, because they open the doors. They literally open the doors. You can say that myself, another school team leader, just grasped them, took a boot and took the door to the floor. But without them, without those guys, I don't think we would have a chance. Maybe we could, but it would have been much more difficult. And by the end of the day, that thing changed bit by bit. With editors or talent managers like you, all the people who had another way of looking at things, that didn't only look at comics from an American perspective or a classic American comics perspective, that opened the door to a lot of more different styles, a lot more different ways of pacing, storytelling, composing pages, which has taken us from where we are now to where we are now. I think that we're at a point, and this is not bullshit, but if you don't agree with me, you can say it, that the level of art and writing in comics has never even been even close to the quality we have now.
Yeah, no, I 100%
so many different styles, not only of art, but also of writing. So many different point of views that is so rich that I think that we are in the best spot ever. What do you think?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And we started this conversation talking about the influence that the Spanish artists would have. but you could go back and just name, periods of time and specifically artists or groups of artists that came over that had influence on comics, and not just artists. Look at what the British writers did, in bringing their sensibilities to the American comic book market, superheroes and outside of superheroes. From some of the masters from Brazil, my God, the influences so many of the Italians have had, from Manara and Topi and everyone back in the day up until now. And then, given 15, 20 years ago, that kind of manga boom brought in, not just Japanese storytelling, but the influence that, the Japanese had originally had on kind of Korean comics. Webtoons now are all the rage, and that's a completely different form of absorbing graphic storytelling.
Mhm.
Even some of the Chinese and Southeastern artists, Southeast Asian artists. The Philippines especially had a very big influence on Marvel very early on, as far as Asia is concerned, because the American comics were brought over there very early on, because of the English speaking ability, and guys from Alcala, and Rudy Nebres and all these guys who passed it down to Wills, who passed it down to Lineal Yu, who are passing it down to a new generation of Filipino artists. So it's just amazing how much we talk about American comics, but so much of the influence that started that has now so much of what we read now has been influenced by so many international storytelling cultures that the word is almost, they're not really American comics anymore. They are these melting pot of comics.
Yeah, it's an amazing melting pot, and I think that's what makes it so special, in a way that whether we like it or not, our past, our influences, where we live, is going to influence the way the stories are told. Because in a way, I'm not a serious writer, but any serious writer will tell you that there's no way your past life story cannot influence the way you write.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in a certain environment, of course, even if you tell stories based in New York or whatever else, there's a certain kind of way of stories, because of the stories you read as a kid, that they are going to influence you. And same with the art. There's a certain way, an artist, I don't remember the name, but an artist told me, you can know where an artist is from because of the way he portrays the light. Because what you remember is the light you see from your window.
Yeah, it's true. Never thought about that.
And you see on a comic. If you are a good artist, you are not going to reflect on a fake tree you saw in a John Byrne book.
Yeah.
Alan Davis. Alan and John took it from reality, from their reality.
Yeah.
So the reality you take is the one you see out of sight of the window.
Yeah.
Which is what I always tell to new artists when I see like fake trees or fake buildings, etc. I always say a real building has to look like somebody has lived on it, that it has rain on it, that is it has some marks because it's been used. If I see a tree, I have to feel that tree is true. And if you keep copying comic book trees, it's never going to look real.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you see on a page, it's always has to be your reality. So even if you like it or not, the tree you see from Jesus, Carmen, Eduardo Rizzo, Rod Rice, Marko Djudjevic, Esad Ribic, etc. And I'm saying different countries, is the tree they saw when they were kids and they were learning, and the trees they knew how to portray, and the light they had from their window, etc., etc. So even if people doesn't notice it, what they see on the page is a different reality that comes from people's brain to their eyes to their hands.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is really so really esoterical, but I always thought that even if you don't notice, it has to be there because it's the reality that's always influenced you.
And it's even when you talk about things like when you set the stage, when they're drawing the insides of houses or bars, the way they draw the glasses, or the way they draw the outlets in a room, or the way they draw specific houses of the interior of a building. You can often tell where they're from because they're drawing what they know, which is comic book artists or artists of any time. They're supposed to draw what's around you, draw real life. And they're drawing real life, but they're bringing their pieces of their real life into the lives of everyone else who's reading their work now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've talked about comics too much already. we can talk about, honestly, we can talk about whatever you want.
I don't even know how this looks on the screen. Like when someone's watching it, I don't know what it looks. They're watching on YouTube, right? And
yeah, YouTube. Let me share with you.
I should go.
I have it in another screen.
I can go on the,
via WhatsApp now, so you see how it is on YouTube. What it has, instead of our two windows, it changes. So what they see is the person who's talking is on the screen, and then when you start talking, they see you.
I see it here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It changed from screen to screen. So if I'm talking, you see me. If you talk, they'll see you.
Right. We have 3 likes already.
I don't know if with the problem with the connection,
Yeah.
see us or not, but but that's whatever.
My mother says she was trying to get on but couldn't, so she'll watch it later.
Okay, I just resent on just in case on Twitter and Facebook. I sent the link again.
I'll do it now too. All right. Yep.
So people can connect. Yes, I send you the link, so you can just put it wherever. I don't know what happened. I think the link, since I changed the name of the screen, probably the link changed. I don't know how. I'm sorry, I'm new at this, people. You can sue me.
I'll just retweet it right now, real quick again.
Yeah.
Had connection trouble, but we are on. And now, Alrighty, so what's the weather like in your area today?
What?
What's your weather like today?
Oh, this is good. We had like 4 days of. Do you remember Asterix? The boss of the tribe, Asuranceturix, said, "My only scare is that the sky falls over my head."
Mm-hmm.
So that's been the last 4 days. Non-stop raining, like almost a flood. Like nature is taking over, saying, "Oh, you are not all of you are now going to pay because I'm free." That was looked like, but today it's really sunny. It's good. That's one of the reasons I took the blinders on, because there was so much sun you couldn't let us see. So the weather is good now. How is it there?
It was good. Yesterday was terrible rains. We actually had a tornado warning yesterday afternoon in New York City, and then now it's super sunny outside. So
nice.
Our messy apartment.
Everything is messy here. The bicycles and all that. So, what is the convention that's not going to happen this year that you miss the most? Not because of how big it is, blah blah blah, or because, well, you know what? The reason you can choose, because of the food, because of the friends, because of the Marvel reasons. What is the one you think you're going to miss the most?
There's probably 2 conventions I'm gonna miss the most this year. The first is gonna, and I don't want to say specifically which one because I don't think it was ever announced, but I was planning on going to a certain convention in Spain, and not just saying that because I'm on a Spanish live stream here, but as a foodie, one place that I've never been is the real home of what people say is one of the best destinations in the world for food, which is San Sebastian, and also to A Coruña, to Galicia, where you are from. And I had been planning on not only going to the convention in Spain, where I know there were a lot of other great guests who were lined up that I was looking forward to seeing again or being introduced to for the first time, but also because we were going to take a little time after and kind of take a week of vacation and explore the local culture there. And it would have been for my wife's birthday as well. So that kind of took the wind out of those sails. But, hopefully that show will get rescheduled and I'll be over there soon. And the other show that I'm just disappointed at, because I love going every year just because I have such fond memories of it. And this would have been my 23rd year going, would have been San Diego Comic-Con, or Comic-Con International at San Diego, however you'd like to refer to it. Just because it's a bear and it's a huge convention, and it's very draining on everybody's time and on energies, both physical and mental.
Yeah.
But just because artists from around the world come, you can just meet someone from everywhere. Some of the artists who come up from Brazil, you and the Spanish guys, some artists from Scandinavia that I'm friends with. Esad from Croatia usually comes, some of the Croatian artists. And then the artists from Asia, who, I don't get to see as much, especially since moving back from China.
Go, please.
I'm still live, it says. So.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Everybody comes to San Diego, and it's just a great one-stop comic book love fest, so to speak, international. Because we all get together. There's so much time that we spend together just talking comics, talking local comics, talking American comics, talking international comics, talking art style, trading tips on just art and new programs, and just absorbing everything about comics in that 1 week that we have together is just something that I miss dearly. And the food and the weather in San Diego can't be beat. So it's always a good place to go as well.
I remember the last time, it was 2 years ago that we were together in San Diego.
Yep.
I still remember that lunch we had on that place that I didn't have a clue it existed. The chicken one on Sunday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Erin, Paloma, you and myself, we had so much fun.
Yep.
Something we can't, even if we wanted to, we can't do a New York Comic Con.
No, yeah, and it was that old house that got converted into like a restaurant brewery. We just sat out on the front porch.
Exactly.
Such a good time in that weather, yeah.
You cannot even think about it, and that's something that only San Diego has for me. That I don't know if I can call it charm or what's the real name of it, but that you're crazy, it drains you like there's no tomorrow. Let's be honest, it drains you. But by the end of the day, there's ways to relax in San Diego. At least for me, I always find a way to relax. New York Comic Con is so hectic, so crazy that probably there's more people, internationally, because it's easier to work, easier to travel, cheaper to travel. So by the end of the day, nobody has time for anything.
Yep.
And at least you have the gas lamp. You have those places in San Diego, and near the Javits. Well, now it starts to be things, but until what, 3 years ago?
Yep.
Did we have anything? We have nothing around the Javits. So
absolutely nothing. And now there's a little bit more, So even with Hudson Yards opening up and Gotham Market things, but yeah, nothing over there.
I don't know. I hope, for Lance's sake and all his team, of course, and the fans, I hope that New York Comic Con is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I hope we don't miss for the industry and for the fans. I hope we don't lose that one too, because it'll be a blow. So let's just cross our fingers for that to happen. I'm sad that San Diego wasn't rescheduled. I really hoped that, considering the weather in San Diego is more or less equal here, that they took it to to maybe October, maybe November.
Yeah.
They have literally no space for it for this year. That show you were mentioning that you were announced for next year, same dates, my friend.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, so just
I'll put it down. Let's go right on the calendar. I got it right over here. So
okay, let's go. So next thing.
What about you? Is there any show, a European show that you've been going to, that you were looking forward to, that you're not going to be able to attend this year?
Being completely honest, well, this is not. I don't want to do this about me, and I'm talking too much already. But thank you for asking. I do so many cons in terms of, because of work, that I really don't want to go to. I really don't want to because I have a 6-year-old, etc., and I cannot. Paloma is working and in ECC at the publisher, and I cannot take them. I don't like to travel without them, to be honest.
Of course.
And when I have to go to cons, I try for work. I try to get them there, and if I have to go without them, I really don't. I just have too many conventions. I have like 6, I think, conventions that I do all over Europe, in Spain and Europe right now. So I don't really do conventions that are not something where I have to go.
Yeah, got it.
And of course, I miss Dutch Comic is a lot of fun. You saw how crazy Stockholm was.
Yeah, love Stockholm.
With the limo and all that crazy night we have. With Phil putting on the heavy metal and on the line one, all that was so much fun. So I miss doing that because every con I do for work, I mostly do it, as you know, not because of the money, but because of you guys, of the friends, of the getting together and having fun, and trying new food and going to new places. It was a blast for me. It was a blast, meeting your family in Stockholm, for example. It's something that I would have never expected to happen. At least not in that, how can I say it? Not in that situation. I could have expected to meet your family in some other situation, whatever, in New York, somewhere in the US, but not like, no, my parents are coming. Like, what? yeah, they're coming because they're from here, families. So you'll see them there, like, okay, so, and then seeing them every night, it was fun.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Something that really makes it, I repeat this mantra over and over again, but those who know me, and you're one of them, I mean it. For me, you guys are family, and I try to do it as family stuff. Groups of people just having fun together. And if there's somebody who is not doesn't want to be part of the group or enjoy it or being part of the family, yeah, you can just go out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to stay together.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. So I will miss not doing the shows that have been canceled. Some of them have been postponed, so I hope they still happen. Like Gothenburg, sorry, it's moving to the fall. Netherlands delayed the opening, for big conventions until September. So Dutch Comic Con have been postponed. Now is probably the spring one is not going to happen, and the November one is going to happen for sure. So I hope that happens. Bilbao is canceled. I mean, postponed, but it's postponed for a year. So like San Diego, and Madrid is December. So I really hope Madrid is still going to happen. So
good.
Barcelona, is like my local show. It's a shame because it was also canceled. But that one is just the show that you have around the corner. So I hope that happens too, but that's going to be next year. So I have hopes for Dutch Comic Con, for Gothenburg, for Stockholm, so the two Swedish ones, and Dutch Comic Con in Madrid. Let's see if it happens. And in your case, second half of the year aside of New York.
Yeah, no real plans at then. We're just
it's up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's up in the air at this point. We'll see where we as a country, as a world, Marvel as a company ends up, and how the airlines are going to react. There's all these factors out there that I'm really just not trying to plan out too.
No. That's too crazy. Let's not think about that. So a lot of people during these days, because of the confinement, have started doing what we've always done, which is cooking at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot. In our case, it's something we've always done because we love it.
Yeah.
So what is let's say experiments, if you're doing experiments with food, that you've done during the confinement, or if not experiments, the dishes you've been working on for in the last few days that you've loved. It's like this I've cooked is amazing.
A lot of what we've been doing goes back to our travels and like our convention experiences, coincidentally enough, because, when we go to these conventions, when we travel, when we eat, everybody experiences the local food. I always ask about the local recipes, try to talk to people about different dishes and what's in them. And also, as you can kind of see behind me, bring back different souvenirs or food-related souvenirs from different places. Be it different liquors you could see, the coffee pots from Italy, coasters, different memorabilia, and also different things to cook with. Like I have a huge pan for paella that I bought in Galicia in Valencia with Salvador.
Yes.
And so what we're trying to do is at least a couple times a week is recreate the feeling as if we traveled somewhere. Who knows when we're going to get on a plane again, but that doesn't mean that we can't recreate that feeling of having traveled in our own home.
Mm-hmm.
So we are taking ingredients, recipes, spices we've brought back, all the different cookware, the glasses, and trying to just create the atmosphere in our house that we are in a different restaurant or in an outside cafe or somewhere in a different part of the world. And it's been great. We've just a couple of days ago, we pretended we were in Vietnam. My wife made bún cha. We had a bunch of different plates and things we bought in Vietnam to serve on. And we've done it with China. We've done it with Korea. We've done a lot of Korean cooking recently, actually, because Koreatown is actually only 6 blocks from our house.
Nice.
And the main supermarket there is opened. They've been, really observing social distancing guidelines from the beginning. They've been fully stocked, and more so than even the other major markets around. So we've been doing a lot of our cooking there, getting inspiration from that market, and trying to find a good balance of using ingredients wisely. It's just a lot of people are going out and hoarding and buying all this stuff, and then they're cooking a whole chicken because they feel they have to, or they're grilling whole steaks, and maybe some of that food is going to waste because there's not big groups of people eating. We can't have dinner parties anymore. And I've seen a lot of these things online, and chefs who are cooking too, making these elaborate meals, not considering that it's only one person who's going to be eating it. So we've also been trying to be very smart about what we're cooking and eating, and make sure we're only doing enough for us for what we have. Because in this time, we are worried, we are home, we are being safe and responsible in our health, but we also want to make sure that we're also being safe, conserving and making sure that what we have can last the longest amount of time. Because who knows how long we're going to be stuck here.
Yeah, we also been trying to be very responsible about the quantity of food we cook. Because of the waste, have to throw out to the trash cans and all that outside. So the more you waste, is more risk you create for the cleaning people, for the people who have to take the trash. Here is a couple times a day. So being responsible about that, and of course, we would have been a lot more experimental, more airing. We have a 6-year-old, so we have to go more with the classics, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Lentils with, fortunately he loves it. Like we had octopus with cachelos, which is Galician potatoes, yesterday, or today we have lentils, red lentils with chorizo and pancetta,
You're making me hungry.
and blood sausage. So you can imagine that's like, which will she like it? Because if she doesn't like it, like, okay, broke my heart. I'm gonna leave now and stuff. But she loves it, so that's really good. So we're trying to try to do special things if she's involved in the cooking, because then she will love it. Because we know, like, okay, let's try to do that special pie that Paloma is a master on, doing bakery. Okay, she's going to help. Or this kind of omelette, okay, she's going to help. The more involved she gets, the riskier she gets in what she wants to eat.
Yeah.
But if not, we just play it safe, fabada or pulpo or lentils or something like that, and it's working out, unfortunately. But since I don't live in Barcelona town, as you know, I live outside of town. In a way, it's easier to not order in Barcelona. One of the things that people is allowed to, because of there's people that because of their health can't cook at home.
Yes.
So one of the things the Spanish government still allows is that you order stuff at home. And I was really worried about the risk of being isolated away at home, as going all out in terms of ordering.
Yes.
But since we're not in Barcelona, the options are normally, I would say, not that limited, because we can order to 20 restaurants or something around here. But right now it's like 2 or 3. So that helped a lot, because you don't even check what the options are in terms of ordering.
Yeah.
Which is better, because you are not risking the people who have to deliver, because every trip is a risk for them. So that took us back to what we love to do, but we never have time for because of work. Because Paloma comes out from Barcelona with the kids, so he's tired. I cook for her and Mary maybe once a day, but now we're cooking 2 or 3 times a day. Yesterday, we cooked churros and we prepare our own chocolate.
Oh, that's great! Wow.
So that was like something that we have never had time to do in the last 2 or 3 years. But now, since she's involved and the kid loves to be involved in cooking, so now we have to take the time for her to study in a way, because she's just turned 6, but she has to do some school stuff, and also she has to do exercise. So it's like, okay, there's some time in the day that we're going to use it for her to also be involved in the cooking. So she's, not bored or playing video games all the time.
Yeah.
But I have to say, keeping the Wii console for 15 years has saved our lives. Because it's not the same, PlayStation.
Yeah, it's more active. Yeah.
Wii, she's playing, but at the same time she's exercising a lot. With the tennis game, with the ping pong, with the swordsmanship, with frisbee, whatever. So I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, sometimes the last cutting edge technology is not as good as a good classic created by the geniuses at Nintendo. They created that machine 15 years ago. It's still working.
Yeah, still. Especially in terms of people getting exercise as well.
Exactly. And it's not about she doesn't care about the quality of how many pixels or if 4K 60 frames per second. She doesn't. She just cares about having fun and and moving around.
Yep.
So with this obsession about the technology, this also has shown me that the obsession about technology, about having the last one, sometimes is dumb. You don't need the last one. You just need the things that works.
Yeah, I think my niece and nephew are using the Wii that Mutsumi and I gave them that we've had years ago. So I'm not sure how much they're playing it, but I know they had set it up. So you're exactly right in that regard.
It's fun. The other day I was seeing, Apple has released the iPhone SE.
Yeah.
And people were saying, no, that's an old phone, etc. And I was in the middle of, experimenting this with the Wii. And that's when people asked me, I was like, no, they did exactly the right move at the right time. Because the crisis, people are not going to have as much money as to get a last blah, 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 11 Pro, whatever. And also people is going to care less about the last cutting edge technology and is going to care about, does it work? Is it cheaper? That's the frame of mind of people is going to change. I was talking also to the convention manager at that Comic-Con before because he was confirming, that we are canceled for the dates we have and blah, 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 in November. And I have to talk to the guests and, the space situation, asking them how much people will confirm, okay, are you guys going to come in November, etc., etc. And we were discussing what's going to happen. I mean, is people going to want to go to conventions? Is people going to be too scared? And my answer was, I have two answers, and one I don't, and I don't know if any of them is true. Meaning, of course, people is going to need to go out. They are just going to need it because it's been too long. But at the same time, they need to go out. But are they going to be too scared to get into a convention center?
Yep.
Are they going to go to closed spaces? Or, as one friend was saying yesterday, maybe was going to save the movie industry, it's like the auto, how are they calling in American? Sorry.
Drive-ins.
The drive-ins.
Yep.
And maybe the drive-ins are going to be the thing that saves the movie industry, because maybe people are going to be too scared to go to the theaters. But since drive-ins, they're safe in their own car, maybe that's the one they're going to want to do. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen in terms of that, of people wanting to go to concert now? Do you think that people is going to need it and just go when they feel they're safe, or they're going to be too scared?
It's going to depend on a lot of factors, and people smarter than me will figure it out. But it's going to really depend on the testing, on the cleanliness, on the amount of people that are going to allow in. I think that the crowds are definitely going to be reduced by the conventions, hopefully, to make it more manageable.
Yeah.
I think there's going to have to be different ways to approach the talent in different industries, in the way that photo ops are done, the way that even something as simple as handshaking or fist bumps are done. The selfies are going to be a concern for people too when we start getting out of this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of thought that's going to have to go into it, and we'll get back on our feet. I think people are going to be anxious to go and get out, but they're going to take everything with caution. And the more that the conventions work to assure the safety of the creators, the guests, and of the fans, and have procedures in place and make sure that people know that they have those procedures in place, the more comfortable people are going to feel in getting back on their feet to getting back to doing shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of creators who are telling me that literally they are going to take this as a skip year.
Yep.
Meaning I am not going to go. They are not even thinking about New York Comic Con. I mean international people. I'm not only from Spain. They're literally telling me, okay, am I going to have a con in a place that is right now, the Javits, it's a place where they have people ill, etc., etc., considering how close the Javits is, and let's say special as a convention center. I am going to go, and a lot of people are telling me they don't want to risk it. It's like they're afraid of what's going to happen. But at the same time, I agree with you. If they clean it the right way, there should be no risk.
Yeah.
But We cannot know it. Every time I am asked, are you going to go to New York Comic Con? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know now, and I probably won't know in a month or two. You just cannot know it because this changes every. We talked on the phone like 2 weeks ago. Remember, you told me this changes every week, and I was like, we'd be lucky if it's every week. I think it changes what 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Considering on how crazy some guy in some government here or there, some state, some country just changing their minds. Yesterday here we had the government. I think has been doing the things the right way in most parts. But yesterday they announced, the kids can come out finally this weekend. But they said they cannot go for small walks, but they can go to the supermarkets and the pharmacies. And everybody, including ourselves, were like, "What the fuck? You're telling me they cannot go for a walk, like half a mile, wherever, and come back home on the street, on their own, with nobody around? But you're telling me they can go to the supermarket? How can it be safe to go to the supermarket, or safer than being, in a big avenue, or like we have in front of our house, a big forest?"
Yeah.
So we are at the mercy of them. They rectified, of course, like a couple hours later, they saw that they screwed up and they rectified, and it's how it should be now.
Yeah. Okay.
They are their mercy. So I don't even know how we are going to do if we depend on governments that change their mind every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks. But okay, I don't know how.
Speaking of staying in, could I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Money Heist. It's a show on Netflix. I believe it's a Spanish show. Have you seen it?
La Casa de Papel.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking for a show to watch next, and I just read recently that Money Heist has actually had higher ratings for Netflix in the United States than Tiger King did. When Tiger King had all kinds of buzz, but Money Heist is something a friend of mine has been recommending for a while, and I was surprised to see that. Just do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Your opinion.
I remember this. You knew the show before now.
Yep.
Remember when we were in Stockholm?
Yep.
And I showed you and Phil some masks.
Yep.
And I told you that's, but I didn't know the name in English yet because Netflix thinks that show was originated from Antena Tres Spanish, and they didn't do a good job with it. They treated it like just another show, and it's not. It's just an action, more American-oriented kind of show, budget-wise, etc. So they didn't really know how to do with it. And as with other shows, Netflix saw it, like Amazon did with The Expanse, etc. They just thought, wow, this is really good because they were rebroadcasting it, Spanish broadcast, and it was their biggest show all over the world. So they bought it, and they bought like 3, and they paid for like 3 seasons. So the third and fourth season, you can see that there's a lot more money.
Okay.
They pay a lot more money because they know how big it is. And right now, it is their biggest show all over the world.
It looks really good. I was interested in it. I remember seeing the ads originally when I was in Madrid too, on the bus stops and everything. For it. So
you're going to see an actress there. I am not going to give you clues because the moment you see it, you're going to, WhatsApp me or tweet me or telling me there. An actress that a lot of people and myself, the moment we saw it, that's Catwoman.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything else. But the show is a really fun one. It's something that's really happening in here that I'm really happy about. The industry here has been really good. The quality of the people in American, Spanish movies, as in comics, as you know, but in movies, in TV shows, etc. The quality of the people of the production industry here has always been really good. But the problem, as in comics, has always been that there was no money to support it. So things like Amazon, Apple, Netflix, HBO are being really good for the Spanish industry, that's been able to go out. You know that who J.A. Bayona is, right?
Yeah,
But J.A. Bayona is now doing for Amazon. He's directing all the Lord of the Rings series.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
So, and that, Money Heist, even there's a show, the smell of margaritas is a flower. I don't remember the name in English now. It's a show from Galicia, that was shot by the regional public TV. Nobody watching in Spain. Nobody, and I mean nobody. Netflix bought it, and it's the biggest watched show in terms of ratings by Netflix in the UK and Ireland.
Wow.
So that thing about the streamers, what they're allowing is that a lot of shows that weren't working here because they weren't thought by that people for our audience, but for the global audience, or that the Spanish broadcaster didn't know what to do with them. They're working a lot. So I recommend both. Money Heist is just fun. If you want to have escapism and pure fun and not thinking about it, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Good. Okay, cool.
And you know what Glass is doing? Well, they have to stop now, but he's doing the show here, right?
Who is that?
Alan Glass.
Oh no! All right, didn't know that.
Alan Glass came to Madrid to do a show for Netflix, and they had to stop it, but he's going to shoot it all here.
Okay, cool.
So about an old spy from the KGB and all that. It looks good. Adam knows his shit, so it's going to be fine.
Got it.
So I don't know if you're busy now because we've been for an hour.
Yeah, we can start wrapping up. I've got to really run too, so.
Yeah. So last question: what are you gonna cook for dinner tonight?
Well, let's see.
Because Carmen, believe it or not, I have Carmen asking me, tell CB I want his recipes.
That's what's great about this too. You talked about more people are getting out there and cooking now that they're at home. I think the other fantastic thing is more people are sharing those experiences, especially recipes which are being traded back and forth. I've done a lot of it. And, a lot of the influencers on social media too, some of the restaurant influencers and whatnot have been going up, even the chefs, like we mentioned, and they're not putting up their restaurant reviews or their recommendations as much. They're cooking and then also now uploading the recipes.
Yes.
So there's so much more information out there to share. I mean, comic creators are doing the same thing, doing a lot of the tutorials, marvel.com and on our YouTube channel, we're doing a lot of, how to draw Spider-Man and whatnot. There's a lot more sharing going on. There was a great one that went up on Pixar yesterday about how to draw Lightning McQueen by Scott Morse, who comes from, the comic industry way back in the day. He's a story supervisor over there now. So that's just been something that's great, and I hope continues once we're out of this and things, quote unquote, reopen, that kind of social aspect goes from just not just sharing information, but actually kind of more learning.
Yeah.
That we've been seeing. But for dinner tonight, I'm really not sure. What do we do for breakfast? For breakfast, I had a sandwich, so who knows where we're going to go for dinner tonight. That's the thing we like to say. It's not like what we're going to cook for dinner, and based on what I told you earlier, and I'm trying to recreate some of our travels and our experiences, it's where we want to go for dinner tonight. It's going to be here at this table looking at the same thing you see behind you.
Challenge
you.
And I don't know if Mutsumi is listening or not.
She is. She's right behind me here.
So, Spanish omelette with manchego cheese and patron peppers.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to go shopping for that first, but there's the rice cooker now.
Oh, okay.
But, I bought some oxtail last time we went to the butcher shop, and I love oxtail stew. It's a very complicated thing to make. I've been looking for a recipe. We thought maybe we'd make some oxtail ragu instead for a pasta.
Okay.
But I would think maybe tonight my oxtail might take a little longer, so that might be tomorrow. So I'm not sure about tonight. But what about you? Any plans for tonight yet, or?
I'm going to try to do with Erin something that is called tuna pie. Tuna pie, because it's easy for her. It's like like taking potato puree, like in like big pieces. Then you get tuna. You can do it in a can or the other. Just slice it all around. Like getting your hands dirty. Then you get mayonnaise, of course, homemade, at the top, and then you get red. Piquillo peppers, right?
Of course. Yep.
But then red piquillo peppers at the top, and then that's the pie you have. You put it on the refrigerator for a couple hours, and when it's all on freezing, you get on and you get the big slice, and you get the tuna, you get the puree, you get the piquillo peppers and mayonnaise.
Excellent! Wow, fantastic.
But it's one of those things that I know since there's like 3-4 steps, she's not going to do it more, and she's not allowed to do it. And then when she sees it, like she learned to do croquettes yesterday. Paloma did some amazing croquettes of broccoli and cheddar cheese.
Nice.
Like not steamed broccoli, but like pan cooked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pan cooked broccoli and cheddar cheese, melted cheddar cheese, and then she did the sauce and all that for it. not the bolognese, the bechamel, sorry, the bechamel, and all that, and then we cooked it there, and we thought, oh, she's gonna eat 3 or 4. She ate 12. She loved it so much, she had to eat
Appetite, yeah.
on it. So I hope we can do the same today.
Excellent.
Anyway, my friend, thank you so much. Sorry, everybody, because of the connection. I think there was some problem with their initial connection.
Yeah.
Said we were connected, but it seems we weren't. But second time it worked. At least what I see on the chat. And sorry, Carmen, you are not getting CB's recipes today. Maybe another time we'll work on that. But that's what we're doing and what we're working on. But
yeah, if we come back and do this next time around, maybe we could take some questions, read some of the comments. And, David, thank you for doing this. I think it's something that people need. It's great to get an international perspective on this. I can't wait to see who some of your future guests will be. And, please give my love to Paloma and Aaron, but also to all your guys, to Danny and Carmen and Jesus and Manuel and Ramon. And, tell them we're thinking about you over here when we see things in the news, and hopefully things will be getting better. Everyone's staying safe, and we'll all be back together in that comics community at a con somewhere just very, very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being there. Again, sorry about the trouble.
Nope.
We're going to stop the live stream now. Wait a second, CB, so I can say proper goodbye to you. But
bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye. Until tomorrow with Mr. And I'm going to announce it now, with Mr. Howard Chaykin.
Oh, wow. I'm going to watch that one.
Be back tomorrow at the same time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.